Welcome to The Explainer. So, today we're tackling a huge theological question, one that gets to the heart of Islamic belief. What actually happens to the soul after it leaves the body?
This is a question people have been asking for centuries. And the source material we're looking at today gives us a really fascinating and, believe it or not, a very structured perspective on this journey into the unseen.
So, here's our roadmap. We're going to start with the big mystery of where the soul even is. Then, we'll look at the clear cut cases for prophets and martyrs, and the different ideas for regular believers. After that, we're going to shift gears to the really serious warnings about punishment in the grave, what actions lead to it, and what it all means for us.
All right, let's just dive right in. But it's really important to approach this whole topic of the soul's location with, well, what the source calls a healthy skepticism. I mean, think about it. We're trying to map out a realm that is completely beyond our own understanding. The speaker here really emphasizes this point. We're trying to wrap our heads around a totally different dimension. This place, the Barzakh, that's the state between death and resurrection, it just doesn't follow our rules of time and space. And that's exactly why there isn't one simple answer. In fact, there are over 10 different scholarly opinions on this.
So, while there's a ton of debate about where most souls go, the sources are actually crystal clear on the location for two very specific groups, the prophets and the martyrs. And this is where it gets really fascinating. Look at these distinct and frankly beautiful destinations. The prophets, they're in the highest echelon possible. And the martyrs, well, they get this immediate taste of paradise. Their souls are literally inside green birds, flying free, eating the fruits of Jannah. It's not their final form, but it's an incredible preview of the bliss to come. Okay, so if that's where the prophets and martyrs are, what about the rest of us believers? Well, this is where the conversation really opens up among the scholars. And man, the opinions are all over the map. You've got some scholars who say the souls are right there in paradise. Then you have someone like Imam Malik who suggested they're totally free to roam wherever they want. And there are even views that they stay near their grave on Earth or go back to some pre-birth state. It just shows you how deep and wide this debate really is. But even with all those different views, the speaker points out that there is a kind of majority position. And it suggests this hierarchy, right? It says that most believers' souls stay connected to their physical resting place, keeping a link to our world, while the martyrs and prophets ascend to much higher planes. And that brings us to our next point, because while the exact where is a bit of a mystery, the why of the soul's experience, whether it's in a state of bliss or suffering, that is presented as something much clearer, and it's meant as a direct warning for us. This is the concept of adhab al-qabr, which literally translates to the punishment of the grave. The source material is clear that this isn't the final punishment of hellfire, but it's a real period of suffering for specific sins committed during life. So who goes through this? Well, the sources say it's not just for non-believers, though theirs is the most severe. Certain believers who committed major sins might also face a temporary punishment. It's almost seen as a kind of purification, a cleansing before the final day of judgment.
Okay, so this is the crucial part. What specific actions are we talking about here? What gets you into this kind of trouble? The traditions are actually very direct about this.
So the sources lay out a few key sins. Disbelief and hypocrisy, okay, they're at the top, that makes sense. But then it gets really specific, and maybe a little surprising. It puts this heavy emphasis on the second point, carelessness with physical purity. Yep, you heard that right. It might seem like a small, almost minor thing, but the way it's explained is that this is a gateway issue. See, being careless about your physical purity is seen as a direct reflection of being careless about your spiritual purity, specifically the state you need to be in for prayer. Slander is also highlighted as a huge deal, and we're not just talking about random gossip. Namima is the specific act of carrying tales back and forth with the direct intention of causing trouble and destroying relationships. It breaks the bonds between people, and that's considered a major sin. And this is just a brilliant illustration of how arrogance is punished. The source tells a story from a prophetic tradition about a man who is walking around, all dressed up, just dripping with pride and arrogance. And the earth literally swallowed him, and he will continue to descend until the day of judgment. What a powerful image. So, how does this all connect back to us, right here, right now? Well, it all serves as this powerful, unseen deterrent.
It's a reminder that accountability for our actions, even the ones that seem small, the ones nobody else sees, it starts the second we leave this world.
The source material leaves us with this powerful, honestly kind of terrifying tradition. The prophet is saying that if we could hear what he could hear from the grave, the sound would be so horrifying we'd stop burying our dead altogether. It suggests this reality of consequences happening right now, but we are shielded from it. And it just leaves you to wonder about the unseen warnings we've been given.